Back in 2011, Jimmy Owens was finally able to break the glass championship ceiling on the Lucas Oil Tour, winning his first ever title over Scott Bloomquist.
Hey, heck yeah, we're going to Disney World.
So how would he follow up in 2012?
Jimmy Owens!
Jimmy Owens!
Jimmy Owens!
By cementing himself as the best dirt late model driver on the planet, winning his second straight Lucas Oil title.
It is. It says a lot for our crew. We've learned so much the past several years just in maintenance programs and how to finish races and how to punch race.
The 2012 season for Jimmy Owens will go down as one of the most consistent in dirt late model history, as in consistently running right near the front every night. Not only with the solid 12 victories, but the most staggering run of top twos in major tour history, with 16 finishes at first or second on the Lucas Series alone, ensuring the championship would once again run through Newport, Tennessee.
But it's gonna be the O Show with the win.
Consistency, excellence, and most importantly, winning, once again proving to be a potent cocktail that led to drinking from the title cup for Team 20 yet again. So let's take a look back at another spectacular season, a championship season for the best driver in America, Jimmy Owens. As it always does, the season for Owens & Company began in the Florida sunshine as East Bay Raceway Park played host to the first 3 nights of the season for the Newport, Tennessee driver and his team, where not surprisingly, despite struggling on his opening night, he bounced back immediately, with a top 10 on night number 2 after rallying towards the front, and what else? A runner-up finish on night 3, where if not for a late caution, he might have passed Steve Francis for the win. Instead, he settled for what would be the first of his 11 second-place finishes on the year.
The whole weekend ended up a whole lot better than what we thought it was going to starting out, and you know, it probably helped me getting in that 2-seater and having a little bit of fun.
Jimmy would leave East Bay right where he needed to be, in the thick of the Lucas Oil title chase, as he headed northeast of Volusia Speedway Park in 6 nights of World of Outlaws action to close out Speed Weeks 2012. And while he may not have left the Daytona area oval with a victory, it was once again a series of consistent finishes, highlighted by 3 top 6 runs.
Jimmy Owens wants to move up, slide, jump. Does he come up short? No, he'll complete it.
The best of which was third on the next to last night, as once again Jimmy left Florida clean and green, proving that even better things were around the corner in the month of March.
Well, I've definitely knocked the rust off and anything else. We've knocked about every panel on the car off. But it's been a rough speed weeks. You know, I've definitely the worst speed weeks I've ever had. We've tore up a ton of equipment this last couple of weeks, but you know, tonight was a good turnaround, and maybe we can get another good finish tomorrow night.
The team would take 3 weeks to regroup from Florida and make their post-Speed Weeks debut at their home track of Volunteer Speedway, where he picked up, what else, a top 5. 1 week later, the Lucas Oil season would resume at Brownstown Speedway in Indiana for the annual Icebreaker, where Owens would begin a streak of 3 straight second-place finishes. First at Brownstown, then the next weekend at Jackson Motor Speedway in Mississippi, and the next night at Lone Star Speedway in Kilgore, Texas.
Here they are at the line. It's gonna be Landers by Eva Curley.
The April calendar began with an unsanctioned event at Boyd Speedway, and of course, like I need to say it, a top 5 finish of 3rd place. And the next night at Cleveland, Owens was back on the Southern All-Stars Tour, and for the first time in 2012, back in victory lane.
Jimmy Owens powers underneath and pulls the slide job.
Owens survived a side-by-side battle with fellow Tennessee driver Billy Ogle Jr. to get his first win of the 2012 season, and put the year on the right track in early spring.
You know, it feels good to get the first race of the season there.
Owens found himself in the top 10 once again on April 14th at the $25,000 to win Commonwealth 100 at Virginia Motor Speedway, solidly coming home 9th after a war of attrition on the half-mile oval. From there, the piling up of top 10s in Lucas Oil races, quite frankly, was unprecedented. Listen to these numbers. 2nd at Roaring Knob, 6th at Tazewell to close out the month of April. He began May with a 4th at Tri-City and a 2nd place the next night at Paducah, 7th the next week at Hartford, Michigan, and yet another runner-up finish May 12th at LaSalle.
Owens will clear Burkhalter for 2nd.
Simply stated, the 20 team, while not winning, was knocking right on the door. Given the fact that Jimmy had been running incredibly well, if you thought a victory was coming, you were 100% correct.
But it's gonna be the O Show with the win.
Not only did Owens pick up his second victory of the year and first Lucas Oil Series win at Batesville Motor Speedway in mid-May, but his dominating performance was extra special, considering the winner of the inaugural Bad Boy 98 not only got $10,000, but a brand new Camaro that he and son Nathan were thoroughly enjoying after a dominating 98-lap performance over Billy Moyer and Scott Bloomquist.
It is pretty cool. You know, we race for money and trophies, and you know, to have a trophy like that, it is pretty cool. First time I've ever actually raced for anything other than purses, but it was pretty cool. We had a good time, had a great car, got to race against two of the best guys in the country, and had a great time.
The confetti from Batesville Victory Lane had barely hit the ground when just 1 week later, the first big crown jewel of the season, the Show Me 100 at the sparkling Lucas Oil Speedway, delivered yet another monster 2012 moment for Owens. As the driver of the 20 car survived a wicked Wheatland cushion, a bobble here, a yank of the steering wheel there, and the dream of back-to-back Show Me titles could have been over. But the best driver in the country proved yet again why he's exactly that.
The winner of the 20th annual George Show Me 100 is going to be Jimmy Owens.
The cushion, the challenges for the lead, he survived it all, grabbing 30 grand and a second visit with Gus the Cool Mule in Victory Lane.
You know, we held on, got the win, and you know, those guys slipped by me a couple of times, but I guess you got to finish, so that helps.
Jimmy was back on the runner-up train a week later at Florence, grabbing another second-place finish at the Lucas Oil event in the state of Kentucky. With a 7th the next night at Tazewell on June 3rd, and in case you're scoring at home, that was 20 straight events in the top 10. Of course, giving him a commanding lead in the Lucas Oil point standings heading into the Dirt Late Model Dream at Eldora. Unfortunately, Jimmy's dream quickly turned into a nightmare. Despite a fantastic starting spot in the first heat race, he was collected in a typical Eldora heat melee. As on the next to last lap, Jared Landers did more than blow a motor, collecting Owens, knocking him out of the dream.
Landers is up in smoke. Landers is up in smoke, and Owens and they all wreck. Owens and Landers wreck in two, and the caution is out.
A 2-week off period lie ahead, which included some regrouping post-dream wreck, as the 20 team was back on the road in late June in the Deep South, grabbing a pair of top 10s, first at Cherokee Speedway in South Carolina, and the next night at Wythe Raceway in Virginia as the calendar turned to July. And what would be the busiest month of the year for Owens, racing a total of 8 times, all in Lucas events, of course never finishing worse than 10th.
Here comes Owens on the bottom. Owens and he'll make contact.
It began with a 6th place at Muskingum County, followed by a 10th place at Magnolia Motor Speedway. Mid-July saw yet another 2nd place drive, this one at Tri-City Speedway in Illinois, as Owens was outgunned by Billy Moyer for his 9th runner-up of the year. But it only took one night to flip the script.
It's not gonna do it again, but it's gonna be Owens' will.
Jimmy picked up right where he left off at Lucas Oil Speedway, earning his first win since the Show Me 100 right back in Wheatland, Missouri, holding off John Blankenship late for the $10,000 top prize and 3rd Lucas win of the year. The remainder of the month was filled with more top 10 runs, including a 4th place at his first ever visit to I-80 Speedway in Greenwood, Nebraska, an 8th at State Line Speedway in New York, and yes, another 2nd, this time to Tim McCready, as two next-generation drivers battled neck and neck at Fonda, with Owens falling just short. July was closed down with a 3rd place run at Hagerstown, Maryland, as suddenly we had reached the dog days of summer in August. And it could have been an off week for the Owens team, but instead they ventured to northern Wisconsin and Cedar Lake Speedway's $50,000 to win World of Outlaw sanctioned USA Nationals.
Jimmy Owens. Owens in the 20, going to go to the inside of Pierce. He'll go to the inside of Reddick as well. He'll go from 4th to 2nd. Here comes the Ocho.
The decision to head to the Dairy State nearly paid off, as the two major series champions of the year, Owens and Darrell Lanigan, would battle toe-to-toe, with Jimmy narrowing Lanigan's monster lead in the closing laps, only to come up just short, in the end, with another runner-up.
For a moment, Marlar over the cushion, Jimmy Owens will go by.
With one of the Money Month's big races in the rearview mirror, it was another $50,000 to win race that took center stage just 1 week later, the Sunoco Race Fuels North-South 100 at Florence Speedway, where quite frankly there wasn't much doubt about who had the best car all weekend long.
But it's gonna be Jimmy Owens. and Don O'Neill on the front row tonight at Florence.
After winning the fourth heat race, Owens jumped out to the lead in the 100-lapper early and was comfortably on his way to the $50,000 top prize when this happened.
Owens has got to be careful, but yet he can't get too far as O'Neill's going to go to the inside. O'Neill to the inside, and O'Neill is going to take the lead, and Owens gets sideways.
It was perhaps the defining clash of 2012, Don O'Neill and Jimmy Owens. With the 20 car pulling away, O'Neill darted to the inside in lap traffic as the two made contact, and the 71 machine went on to win the race, but hardly squelched the controversy that would lead to Jimmy's 12th second-place finish of the year.
All you could do was just follow one another, and I guess he's seen his opportunity to bury it off in there and get by us, and he did. So, you know, if he's happy, I'm happy.
He had to check up early down there he caught some lap traffic just at the wrong spot right there and had to get out of the gas early, you know, getting into 3, and man, I just pulled underneath and, you know, and drove up through. I mean, and just one of them deals where I think it just caught, you know, he had to let off that wrong spot at the wrong time.
It wasn't cool. You know, it's 50,000 win, 10,000 per second. There's a big price difference there, and I don't know, maybe his head's still messed up from that wreck at Cedar Lake or something.
There wasn't much time to dwell on the $40,000 sway in pay at Florence, as the next week a $40,000 race of its own was taking place in Batesville, Arkansas, as the topless 100 came and went with another top 5 finish in exactly 5th. But it did set him up for a good weekend to close out August 6 and 7 days later with the top 10 at his home track of Volunteer, and one night later with his 5th victory of the season and 4th on the Lucas Tour at Lawrenceburg Speedway in the Hoosier state of Indiana.
Brings it off turn 4 for Mike Reese, and he is going to pick up a big win out here at Lawrenceburg.
Jimmy led all 50 laps, but had to fight off John Blankenship and Don O'Neill to win the Whiskey City 50 and pad his already massive Lucas Oil points lead. A busy Labor Day weekend kept the Team 20 streak of top 10s firmly intact, with the 5th place at Portsmouth and a 10th at the Hillbilly 100 just one night later at I-77 Speedway in Ripley, West Virginia.
Jimmy Owens on the gas to the outside. He'll go to 5th.
And certainly when Labor Day weekend is over, all eyes in the dirt late model world turn to Eldora, where Owens was hoping to put a disappointing dream weekend from June behind him. But once again, it appeared the 2012 season at the Big E would simply be full of bad luck.
But Jimmy Owens had gone from 11th to 5th, but he's got a right front flat.
After rallying from 11th to 5th in his heat race, Jimmy suffered a flat right front tire on lap 13, which forced an appearance in the B main, where he once again had a flat tire. All the bad luck prematurely ended the Eldora weekend, snapping a streak of 8 consecutive World 100 appearances for Owens.
And Jimmy Owens got a piece of that too. Owens is coming down pit road.
The disappointment didn't last long, as another top 10 was on tap the following weekend in Virginia Motor Speedway's USA 100 as he came home 7th. And as he often did during the 2012 season, after one bad run and one steady one, a win was just around the corner.
As Jimmy Owens leads all the way at Brownstown for the Jackson 100 victory here tonight.
Jimmy rolled to his first ever Jackson 100 title in totally dominating fashion at Brownstown Speedway, pulling away from Steve Francis early and controlling the final 70 laps for a no-doubter $20,000 win, his 6th of the season.
We got to keep our head about us and go out there and win races as much as we can. And, you know, if we can just keep the finishes, some decent finishes coming, we can probably hold everybody off. But for the most part, I'm not really worried about it. I want to win races. We don't want to win the points as bad as I want to win the last 5 races.
With 20 grand in hand, Jimmy and crew rolled into what some drivers refer to as the biggest race of the season, the Lucas Oil Knoxville Nationals at the beautiful and ultra racy Knoxville Raceway, which hosts 3 full nights of racing. And while Owens struggled in the first night, he more than bounced back in the second and third, recording a pair of top 5 finishes, 4th on Friday and 5th on Saturday, leaving Knoxville with more than enough confidence to close out the Lucas Oil season as it entered its final 3 events.
Wheel to wheel, the top 2 to Lucas Oil points the last 3 years. Bloomquist won the title 2 years
Owens dethroned him a year ago. Down the straightaway, they're at it at Knoxville.
And what a way to bring it home. Dixie Speedway on October 6th, where it appeared the string of top 10s may have been over. But not to worry, not only did Jimmy rally from his 13th starting spot, he won his first ever Dixie shootout when Chris Madden broke a left rear wheel with just 3 remaining. And in a season where second place finishes had happened entirely too much, a little luck allowed him to break the runner-up curse and all but clinch his second straight Lucas Oil title.
That'd be pretty good, you know, to get a win for us down here. It's pretty good. We've struggled here in the past, but to bring this one home tonight is, it's a real morale booster for the team.
The next night at Rome Speedway was special for a few reasons. Some good, some bad. First, the good. Owens was officially recognized as the 2012 Lucas Oil champion, even with another race the next week at Portsmouth. But the bad, Owens led the first 21 laps, but a flat right rear tire on lap 22 relegated him to a 14th place finish. But there was some silver lining there, and brace yourselves for this number. From February 23rd to October 7th, 43 races in total. Of the events he qualified for, Jimmy finished in the top 10 in all of them. Nearly 40 straight top 10 finishes. Just a staggering number that we may literally never see again in Major Dirt late model history.
One last chance, but it's gonna be the O show with the win.
After a brief stop at the rough and tumble Charlotte Motor Speedway to shake down a Barry Wright race car on October 10th, Jimmy's attention turned to the Lucas Oil season finale, the Red Buck Dirt Track World Championship at Portsmouth Raceway Park. And if you thought he'd take it easy with the title already on ice, you'd be dead wrong.
It's going to be a little hairy at the end, but he's going to win it. He'll take the checkered flag.
Owens not only rolled to a heat win, but starting outside row 1 of the feature, he took the lead on lap 2 and laid a $50,000 beatdown on the field, easily dominating the race and putting a massive exclamation point on his second straight Lucas Oil Series championship. A relief after it was over, as the 20 team was all smiles with their triumphant season and capping victory.
It is. It says a lot for our crew. We've learned so much the past several years just in maintenance programs and how to finish races and how to punch race.
Just as he did in 2011, Owens had a few more stops to close out his season after wrapping up his Lucas title, including another dominating win, this one over a Lucas-like field at the Cotton Pickin' 100 at Magnolia Motor Speedway in Mississippi, where he got $15 grand and his 9th victory of the year. But if you thought the Dirt Track World Championship and Cotton Pickin' 100 were icing on the cake, you haven't seen this particular cake.
Jimmy Owens has swept the World Finals.
Owens took the 20 team once again to the World Finals in Charlotte, a 2-day season-ending extravaganza in front of 15,000 people in a live television audience on Speed. But 2 races weren't the only things to be settled. World of Outlaws champion Darrell Lanigan and Owens were locked in a dead heat for the DirtOnDirt.com Driver of the Year award. Some thinking Owens had to sweep the weekend to unseat Lanigan. No pressure, right? Owens put the doubters on point the first night, starting 9th, driving around Lanigan among others and dominating for a $10,000 no-doubter. So would a sweep be on the horizon? Of course.
How bad do you want to win tomorrow night, and how